Coming at you live on this Sunnyside summer Thursday. This is the CHGO Cubs podcast. Head to sunnyside.shop or the nearest Sunnyside cannabis dispensary and use code HICHGO for 35% off your first order. Bright buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders. Hello! Sorry, I didn't mean to yell. I'm so excited. Cubs sweep the Orioles, brother. Luke's not hosting, I'm hosting, and I'm just way too excited. Cubs sweep the Orioles. 4 straight wins. The Cubs have won 6 of 7. I'm not saying we're back yet. I'm going to do a Malort shot because I said I would, but I'm just happy. I'm allowed to be happy. The Cubs have won 6 of the last 7, have won 4 straight games. They swept one of the best teams in baseball in dominating fashion, scoring 21 runs and only allowing 2. Ryan Herrera, Jared Willis, Cody Delmendo. Some of us are a lot quieter than me. I'm sorry if I'm hurting your ears, if you're in your car radio, whatever.
38 hits the last 3 games?
38 hits.
I think it was, right?
They're so hot.
There's reasons to be excited at the moment, I think. Sorry.
Cubs are so hot, we all had to wear shorts.
Hell yeah. Let's go. And it's a Sunnyside Summer Thursday.
That's right.
Whew. Luke wishes he was here tonight.
Sure.
He's in Mexico or whatever, like we said in pregame, and he's just like, man, I can't believe I left for this.
His day trip to Mexico.
Yeah. Anyway, we got a lot to talk. We already got a super chat. We got 28 likes already.
3 super chats.
How many people watching, Kevin?
We have 140.
140. I'm assuming that number is going to keep going
Hit that
up.
like button.
Hit the like button for us. It helps other Cubs fans out there on YouTube looking for us or looking for something Cubs related to watch. All right, so
4
Cubs win.
super chats. Keep them coming. 4.
We got a lot of them. We'll get to them soon.
Keep going. We'll get
Cubs win 8-0, not 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 8-0. Again, dominating fashion. Justin Steele shoves it down the Orioles' offense throats.
Yeah.
Honestly, we were all a little upset that he came out of the game for the chance at the complete game.
Yeah.
But whatever. They win 8-0. Sweep the Orioles, man. The offense, Seiya Suzuki. We're going to talk about the offense more so in the second segment, but the offense came out tonight, and the pitching, again, was great. Like, all facets of the game tonight. All facets. And that's how it's been over this stretch. Like
Good defense.
Yeah. It's fun.
It's like what we talked about on Tuesday, that 9-2 win, and we said that was maybe the most complete game of their season. I think this one just topped it. 8-0. You know, starting pitching was great. Bullpen didn't let up a run. I know Jorge Lopez got a little bit of traffic there at the end. Ultimately preserved the shutout. Didn't give the Orioles any sort of hope to get back into it. Yeah. And then the offense scored early, scored in the middle of the game, scored late, just continued to add on to that lead. Whereas, like, what was it, 1-0 in through 4 innings, it was 1-0. They scored 3 in the 5th, another one in the 6th, 3 more in the 7th. Like, they middle innings, and then obviously into that 7th inning, blew the game open where it was like they just kept adding on, which is something we haven't seen enough of the offense doing. When we kept talking about for May and June of the offense wasn't scoring enough, leading to a bullpen that was imperfect, and there was so often where it felt like, okay, now the bullpen has to be perfect every game because the offense either couldn't even, like, they were down because they didn't score enough runs, or they didn't score enough runs to give you a comfortable lead, where it just felt like every game the bullpen needed to be perfect. Today, they didn't need to be perfect. They were fine enough, like I said, to preserve the shutout, but Steele gave you 7 awesome innings, and the offense gave you 8 runs through 7, where to the point where once they did turn to the bullpen, it was pretty much, smooth sailing from there. It was
low leverage innings.
So that's, again, when I say that may be the most complete win of the season, like, you got all facets of the game. I know Hap and Saya had their miscues with
Fumbled a couple out
yeah,
there.
but 2 outs, nobody on base. Like, it's okay. You can that's
I
forgivable.
guess the defense is the one thing. Like,
Yeah, there were those two.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When they needed to make the defensive plays, they did, especially your guy, Master Boney. So,
My
like,
guy.
whether it's
Our
Hap,
king.
like I said, Hap or Sayas, 2 outs, nobody was on, runs didn't score, forgivable. Okay, do better. Like, obviously, do better next time. But just overall, just a complete game win, and a complete series win from a team that's like been sorely needing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's about it. I think not about as dominant as they've been this season. This is the best they've looked across a 3-game stretch, but even over a longer stretch, going back the last 7-8 games or so. Like we said in the pregame show, yeah, you don't want to call it too early and say, hey, they're back, here we go. But Cubs fans have been waiting for
Life.
them, for life. Yeah, exactly.
Just any like heartbeat on the
right,
the
like
monitor.
some sign of a pulse on this
Yeah,
team.
that's what I was looking for. A pulse.
And you have to maybe like those first couple blips on the the monitor there. That's happening right now. And we'll see what happens after this.
Yeah,
but
still a ways to go.
If you're looking for some sign that the team is coming to life, it's hard. You can't ignore this.
Yeah, I know I was super excited and all this and loud when we started the pod, but like in general, I'm just excited to be happy about something. You know how hard it is to come on here and talk about a loss every single day and it was so bad at certain points where you could script it. Like, you knew what was going to happen. It's just nice to talk about some wins. That's what and genuinely, I might come off as thinking that we're back. I don't think we're back yet. I'm with you guys. I think we still need to see a really good series against the Cardinals this weekend for me to declare them being quote unquote back. It's just nice to see them play good baseball for a week. You know what I mean?
A respectable amount of time.
Yeah. I would argue this week they have played their best baseball as a whole over the entire season, because in April, even though they were 17-9 at whatever points, it was largely because of the offense. They didn't get deep starting pitching at the very beginning of the season. Steele got hurt, and they struggled at the start of the year. If it wasn't Shota or Javier Assad, they weren't getting deep starts. Plus, Tyone was out, so it led to the bullpen being used so much, and so everyone was magnifying the bullpen, and they blew some games. And on top of the fact that ALLCITY just wasn't getting the job done. But the point is, what I'm saying is, over this last week, when they've won, it's been in dominating fashion, and they're getting every facet that you need, whether it's the bullpen. 2 days ago, the bullpen was great in that sort of close game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it was good again last night. You're getting great starting pitching, this not only just this week, but the entire season. And then the offense, 8 runs, 4 runs yesterday, 5 runs the day before, Like, they're scoring runs like a lot, not just 1 or 2. There's not one-run game in here.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we've talked about. We talked about the fact that when you play so many one-run games, you're going to put your bullpen in position to have to be perfect, and we're going to magnify all the mistakes if they don't win the game.
And that's what I said earlier. It's
Right.
like the defense, you didn't care about it anymore because they won 8-0.
Right.
The bullpen, whatever, even
Right.
if they gave up a couple runs, who cares?
Exactly.
They won. They
It
were up
takes
8-0.
takes so much of the pressure off of moments like that where they don't feel like such a big deal, or where it turns into is like this snowball effect of first they miss this catch out in right field, and now you got this base runner on, and every run is precious, and you don't have to sweat some of that stuff as much. And I do think that affects the way that guys plays the way that guys play when they can play a little more loosely, because they're not worried about, I missed this catch here, because it's not going to turn the tide of the game when they do what they did tonight.
Yeah. My man, Justin Steele, he's telling me Derrick Henry over 10.5 touchdowns for the season in my TikTok lives, and then he's going out and shoving it. That's what he's doing. Couple of tweets. Kevin's going to put them up here. This first one from Chris Kampka. His last 9 starts, Justin Steele, 1.48 ERA, 61 innings pitched, 58 strikeouts, 12 walks, 2 homers allowed, a 180 opponent's batting average, and a 477 opponent's OPS. That's ridiculous.
It is just absurd.
That
is absurd.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's like. And again, we've talked about it. Like, he had the Pirates games, and then I think it was the Braves, where he didn't quite look like Justin Steele of last year, but you know what? He was off for a month, had the hamstring injury. It was like you weren't super like people that were super worried about it at that point in time. I think we all kind of sat up here like, why you like the first 3 starts he's been off for a month. Like, give him a shot.
And off for a month after getting injured on opening day
where
so
you didn't even have
right,
a lot of time in the season. Yeah. So he comes back and this is his last 9 starts now or whatever it is. And he may even look better than he did last season in this stretch, right? Like obviously he had a longer sample in 2023 that had him in the Cy Young race for much of that season. But this 9-start stretch, maybe even better than, pick your 9-start stretch of last season for him. Like that's how good he's been.
It's and somebody else it came to mind as we were looking at those numbers, and somebody said it in the comments, but it's not as good as Jake Arrieta in the second half of 2015, but it's awfully close. Across a 9-stretch start, that's a good chunk of the season, and to perform that well for that long, there it is. The Jake Arrieta Cy Young type numbers.
Carter Hawkins.
It's getting, 2015 when it was Jake Arrieta starting, you weren't worried about it. And the way that Justin Steele's pitched lately, you kind of have to feel the same way.
On his birthday, I said in pregame, it's a legacy
son's birthday
start.
as well.
And his son's birthday.
It's a big day.
I said in pregame, on your birthday, a chance to sweep the Orioles, and we'll be if the Cubs somehow make the playoffs, we'll be talking about how the season turned around, and we'll probably be talking about this game.
When sweeping the Orioles. When you
that's why I call it a legacy start. And he showed up, man. Then he exited with 70 pitches, and we all kind of sat on the couch and was kind of like, wow, like maybe he could have thrown back-to-back complete games. I think Boog said it on the broadcast. Greg Maddux in 2004 was the last Cubs pitcher to throw back-to-back complete games. That would have been incredible to put Justin Steele and Greg Maddux in the same sentence with something like that. But 8-0, I guess. The weather. We know the weather has been like super hot out there. Don't waste any more bullets when you're up 8-0. I guess. Like I get it, but I also would have loved to see it.
If it was a closer game, you probably keep him in there. We said on the couch, like you could have done it. Obviously, save the bullpen for the weekend, but at the same time, it's like you don't have a problem with it.
And it's not like they really taxed their bullpen a whole lot to get through those last 2 innings. And I think the 8-run lead had a lot to do with it. There was, this is one of those Craig Counsell, thinking long term, big picture. Mm-hmm. Most of us are just kind of living in the moment of tonight's game and thinking about how, how cool that would be to another complete game. But grand scheme of things, I get it.
If I'm reading these stats right, too, that's 7 straight quality starts for Justin Steele.
It's not too shabby.
Right? Yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, 7 with a 5-inning 1 earned run performance right before that.
And it was after those 2 starts against the Pirates of all teams that for some reason they kind of just own him.
They were just hitting homers off him.
Yeah, he was giving I remember we were sending multiple tweets like, man, he's given up 6 home runs already. Like he gave up like 14 all of last season or something like that. He hasn't been giving up much of any of late. So, well, I know we have a break coming up, but I did want to read another stats tweet that was sent out from our friend Brian Smith, one of the great prospect writers out there. Justin Steele's last 54 outings, which dates back to his last start of June in 2022. So, like, right around if you've been following him since he became a starter, right around June of 2022 is when you started to see this guy turn into something that we were like, whoa.
That was the turning point.
The turning point, like the John Lester conversation, as we've referenced many times. So a span of 106 weeks. So 314 innings pitched, 277 hits allowed, a 2.69 earned run average, 75 walks, and 322 strikeouts.
Wild. Think about those last 2 numbers. 322 strikeouts to 75.
That's was that like 4 point something strikeouts
it's
per
more
walk?
Than it's more than 4 to 1, right?
At 4 like 0.2 or something like that. Like that's
75
great.
times 4 is 300. So
yeah. There you go.
That's
close.
just it. That man.
Math's never been my strong suit, but I knew it was close.
I'm not a math
4.29. Yeah.
I didn't even attempt that math, so I'm just impressed that you tried it all.
Justin Steele has been like not even just this year, since last year, like as close to an ace as like I mean he's been the Cubs ace for sure, but like as close to like a superstar pitcher as like the Cubs could have hoped for. And like that's you're talking about the last competitive window when they were barely developing prospects, let alone pitching, and they started to do all this, the changes to the pitching development infrastructure, the pitch lab, all this kind of stuff. And like more in the last couple of years, you've started to see the fruits of that with guys starting to impact a big league roster, bullpen, rotation, whoever it is. But like Justin Steele's probably their biggest success story from that.
Absolutely.
Because he was a fourth round pick, I want to say, but that was like 2014. So going on, or was I guess over 10 years ago now. And he really didn't come on the scene until mid 22. So that's a lot of time between getting drafted to really showing like, hey, I could be a very dependable, top of the rotation starter. That's like 8 years. So what he's been able to do the last 2 years, just an extension of like, not only did they develop a guy that can impact the big league team, but they developed a guy who can impact the big league team in a massive way. And he's been doing that for almost 2 years now.
I see in the chat that it's also fellow diehard DFW Susie's birthday.
It's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Happy.
Okay. I think people are telling her happy belated. So we don't have a show tomorrow, but I'm letting you know happy birthday, Susie.
Happy pre-birthday.
Susie, whenever it is, happy birthday.
Justin Steele's birthday. It's Susie's birthday tomorrow. It's close enough. Bo's birthday. So anyway, you know what's good for your birthday? Cuts clothing.
Cuts clothing. Yeah, we should get Susie some Cuts clothing for her birthday. She deserves it, but or maybe not. Whatever she wants for her birthday, she can have. But let me tell you about Cuts clothing. Get ready to be the most stylish of your crew this summer with Cuts. Most guys would wear a t-shirt every day of their lives if they could. The problem is that most t-shirts are not acceptable to wear at work or out on a hot date night. But today's sponsor, Cuts, has finally changed that. Cuts t-shirts are such high quality, wrinkle-free, and so buttery soft that you can look like you're dressing up even when you're dressing down. Yeah, you heard that right, Cody, while you're pouring that shot. Wrinkle-free. You never have to substitute comfort for fashion ever again. Dive into summer with Cuts. For a limited time, you can save money on Michael Chandler's favorite clothing company by heading to cutsclothing.com and use code CHGO for 20% off. I think my favorite thing is the wrinkle-free aspect of it, because I don't have to worry about throwing my shirt into the dryer to try to get the wrinkles out or getting some kind of spray. So it's already ready to go. I think that's my favorite thing about it. Not only has Cuts completely changed the t-shirt game, they have tons of other simple yet sophisticated items. Their bottoms stretch to fit joggers look way better than your khakis and are 1,000 times more comfortable. All their clothing is as comfortable as athleisure, but fashionable enough to wear to work or backyard barbecues. And the best part, Cuts clothing is built to last. Their durable construction means you'll be out enjoying your favorite shirts and pants for years to come, making them a smart investment for your wardrobe. Embrace the summer state of mind with Cuts. For a limited time, our listeners get 20% off your entire order when you use code CHGO at checkout. That's 20% off your order at cutsclothing.com with promo code CHGO. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Experience the perfect blend of style and comfort with Cuts clothing, or as Luke would say, Cuts clothing.
I swear, if we had an out of context CHGO Cubs Twitter account, we would just tweet this moment every time we do a Cuts ad. Just tweet it every night. Cuts.
Yeah.
Get some Cuts clothing. You know how you can get some Cuts clothing? After you get a new job so you can buy it, right? Do that with Indeed, because Indeed helped me find many jobs over the course of my life, right? They're driven by the search for better, but when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly listeners, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. And Indeed doesn't just help you hire faster. 93% of the employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, according to a recent Indeed survey. One of the things, this is from someone quoted saying this, all right? And they said, one of the things I love about Indeed is that it makes hiring all in one place so easy because of how easy it is to use their site and stuff like that. And just fill out all these little things. And that's kind of goes with my experience of using Indeed over the years in terms of what you use it for, right? So leveraging over 140 million qualifications and preferences every day, Indeed's matching engine is constantly learning from your preferences. So the more you use Indeed, the better it gets. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibly at Indeed.com/AllCity. Just go to Indeed.com/AllCity right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/AllCity. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
We have 8 super chats. I don't know if you want to hit those now or do you want to do them later?
Let's hit them after the second block because we have it's so tight, as they say.
Yeah. Or maybe we can see if we can hit it.
Or maybe we can do we could do half of them and then get to the other half.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. Seiya Suzuki, he provided the power for today's game presented by the Illinois pork producers. Savor the flavor, savor the gains, and celebrate any occasion by enjoying the best pork produced by Illinois pig farmers. Seiya Suzuki, 2 doubles, a triple, 3 RBIs on all of those hits. Were an RBI on each one of those hits. And like I said earlier, the Cubs offense in general, 21-2 over the course of those 3 games. The offense, I mean, you can list almost everyone tonight. I feel like maybe Morel is the only one you can't. But
Pete Crow-Armstrong had a couple, not some great but really like the lineup as a whole, top to bottom, that was about as solid as performance as you can ask for.
Yeah. No, I mean, Bush was 2 for 4, 3 runs, 2 ribbies. I know one of those hits was like give me double, like the ball just dropped the outfield, right?
The BABIP gods smile on you. It's just
the BABIP gods owe us, man.
But Nico, who we know has been just results-wise struggling at the plate, 2 for 4. I think he also got hit by a pitch to start the game, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yes. So got on 3 times. Hab was 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run. Yeah, then maybe Swanson, obviously 2 for 4 with the homer. Mastrobuoni 2 for 4. Even Nito right there at the bottom of the order getting 1 for 4 with a run. So up and down the order. I mean, again, a couple guys got offers, but overall lineup did exactly what they needed to do. As I said earlier, like score early, score in the middle, keep adding on. They did that, and all of a sudden we're at an 8-0 lead in the top of the 7th, and we're like, okay, it's almost showtime, right?
Yeah.
Like we weren't worried about the end of this game anymore, like because it felt like they cruised from there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the offense needed to do. That's what they've been needing to do.
Dansby and Nico, they shined in the series, not just tonight, but just in the series. I thought Dansby had a tough first game, and he's been so bad that everyone just magnifies on it after every bad game he has. And I've, whether it's people on social media or whatever, I mentioned to them that he had a good game on Sunday. So I'm hoping that, it's a start of something. We had a good game on Sunday, bad game on Monday, had a couple hits off Corbin Burns last night, hits a home run tonight, hit the ball hard tonight, multiple times, multiple hits tonight.
Hit it far, even though, the one that was the fly out to center. I mean, that was right into the warning
hard.
track.
Was it like a 102?
And he hit one to left center.
Yeah.
That was caught.
Yeah. That's what we're talking
that was, okay.
That's what I was talking about.
Is that the one you're talking about?
The one that was like 102.
Yeah.
Exit view. I think you said it was like a home run and like 4 balls.
It would have left Wrigley.
Like
yeah.
So he hit the ball hard. And I think we've talked about where at some point the hitting the ball hard, feeling unlucky, at some point it's like you have to just produce at some point, right? But when you've got Dansby, who's been not producing for a while and has just looked just has been struggling at the plate for a while, honestly, we talked about just the team having a pulse in general, but Dansby having a pulse, like he's still giving you great defense. And I think I remember we talked about it at the beginning of the season when he made a couple uncharacteristic mistakes, and we all kind of said it, but I remember myself saying it, like, I'm not worried about Dansby. I think by the end of the season, defense was not going to be a concern, and he's doing that. So he always had the defense, but any sign that the offense is coming around is going to be huge for the offense as a whole, because you got 3 guys in Bush, Happ, and Suzuki who are really doing well. Nico's, if he can start heating up, that's obviously an added bonus. But then Dansby too, as just, even doing what he did last year for most of the year offensively would be huge, as far as just like eliminating
the whole scope
just eliminating any or as many holes in the lineup, or just like rough patches in the lineup as you get. It changes the lineup.
Yeah. So I guess for me, my biggest takeaway offensively, obviously you're going to need Seiya to continue to hit like this, especially with Bellinger out.
Yeah.
It was good to see Seiya get some extra base hits. Not 1, not 2, 3 extra base hits tonight. Drove in a run. Like, he's in the 3-hole tonight. They need him to drive in runs, man. And he has been hitting well, but I feel like it's just it hasn't like so many, Cubs content people are tweeting out these numbers for Seiya Suzuki this year, and I look at him like, really? It's been that good? Because it's like I feel like whether it's a moment or maybe he goes through a bad week or 2 or something. I don't know what it is, but he's having a really solid year. Mm-hmm. Hopefully it can go from being a solid year to an even better year if he really steps up and picks up this Cubs offense like he did tonight. So
he did tonight. One of the things that we've talked a lot about with the offense, where when they were really struggling, they struggled a lot with hitting with runners in scoring position. And a big difference for an offense is you get guys on base, and then you can get base hits when the guys are on. And you saw that from him tonight. He had multiple hits with guys on base. So
first run of the night.
Those are right. Those it's things like that kind of timely hitting that just wasn't happening earlier in the season during that really long rough patch.
Right. Yeah.
And it's the stuff that we all said needed to happen for them to start winning, and now it's happening, and they're winning.
Yeah. It's a nice little stretch for this offense, but like they need to perform like this to pick up their starting rotation and to not make their bullpen be so perfect.
Yeah.
Right. All right. We have 3 minutes before we have to do another break?
3 minutes.
All right. So if you watched yesterday's show, I said that I would do a Malort shot if they swept. I'm not doing a beer bat.
It wasn't even your idea. It was someone's
idea. Yeah, it was someone in the chat.
chat.
I want to say it was Scott from Iowa.
Because you were like still like trying to the beer bat. You're trying to like save it till they get to 500 or what is the goal now?
I think now it's at a point where if they keep winning, I'm not going to do a beer bat until they lose.
You can't change
because they've won 4 in a row. Yeah. I didn't do a beer bat, or I stopped doing beer bats because you were
punishing the team.
I was punishing the team because they weren't worthy of one. Yes.
You got to earn it back.
So I still haven't said the Cubs are back yet. So
not until the beer bat is
not
back.
Until you feel they're back.
Yeah. So like perhaps if say they win 3 out of 4 over the weekend against the Cardinals, I'll probably be bringing it back. All right.
People are suggesting in the chat that you should chug a bat of Malort.
Yeah.
And to that, I say, what are you trying to do to this guy?
That's going to be a no for me, dog.
Fair.
All right. So yeah, you guys watch me pour it in here. So
yeah,
it's real. Can't
it's
confirm.
real.
Can't confirm.
It looks like a lot.
It's not a beer bat, but it's Malort.
Yeah. Good luck.
Right, also, while you do that, shout out to Godfather.
Godfather
who is
CHGO.
back in the chat. Welcome back,
Godfather's
Godfather.
back. Welcome back, Godfather.
Welcome back,
have missed
Godfather.
you.
Why don't you take another one for the Godfather?
Yeah.
At the end of the show, I'll do one.
So the question is,
at the end of the show, I'll do another Malort shot for Godfather.
Well, you did that, but now we're both cracking Blue Moons because we love Blue Moon.
I do love Blue Moon.
Jared has his Blue Moon.
I got one. Here we go.
We all love Blue Moons on the show. Thank you to Blue Moon.
Shy says they need to get back to 500 to bring back the beer bat. That's what I in general believe, but I did a few beer bats when they were under 500 too, but that was just because at the time I was like, we're gonna get it back going at some point, and then they just didn't. So I'm almost like if you get to like 2 or 3 under, then I'll consider
it's
it.
Time to
But if they lose tomorrow and then win 3 straight going the All-Star break, I'll probably post a video of me doing a beer bat from my apartment on Sunday.
There we go.
Are you gonna bring the beer bat to Village Tavern tomorrow? Maybe.
Maybe.
My question is,
maybe.
that Malort bottle is half gone already. Where did this bottle come from? Who has been drinking it?
It's just been sitting in our office. I don't know.
That's the bottle that DNVR brought for the first Christmas party, right?
Really?
Yeah, it's almost 2 years
Nobody's
old
had
now.
that.
Because I just would like to call attention to the fact that there's a lot of Malort gone from that bottle.
Like, who is drinking them?
Yeah,
Malort?
they
like
doing that.
I'm sure RK.
RK
drink a bunch.
RK loves that.
He likes
Malort.
it.
He likes Malort.
Okay, all right.
One of our fearless leaders, RK, out in Denver.
Okay. So what I think our next ad. Yeah, Blue Moon. We just cracked these Blue Moons.
Speaking of Blue Moon.
Speaking of Blue Moon.
So, as Benjamin Franklin once said, beer is proof that God loves us and wants us to be happy. He actually said that about wine, but I think it's because he had never had Blue Moon.
If he'd had a Blue Moon, he would.
Don't let the facts get in the way of a good story.
Exactly. It's a great quote, but the thing that was missing from his life was a good Blue Moon and a baseball game, because there's nothing that goes better than beer and baseball. Whether you're at the park, you're watching from home, it's the perfect pairing. So some beers can say they're brewed for baseball, but only Blue Moon was brewed by baseball. Beer and baseball just go together, and no beer goes better than the one that was literally born in a ballpark. Blue Moon was created at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. It's the natural choice for opening day and all season long. So one of the things that I love about Blue Moon is when I'm at the grill, I've got baseball on the radio, I'm making up some burgers, get a Blue Moon. Sometimes you put the orange slice in there, sometimes you don't. It tastes great either way. But Blue Moon has its refreshing flavor with the Valencia orange peel for a subtle sweetness and hints of coriander. Blue Moon Belgian-style wheat ale is a one-of-a-kind beer that's made brighter. It's carefully crafted and full-flavored with refreshing notes and a smooth, creamy finish. Blue Moon was brewed by baseball to give you a dose of nostalgia and get you excited for the new season, or even right now, the second half of the season. Blue Moon isn't just another beer, it's a whole different experience. Why strike out with the same old beer when you can get something one of a kind? Its bold flavor, bright explosion of color, and the iconic orange slice ritual guarantee a one-of-a-kind beer experience perfect for baseball weather. So bring the ballpark with you with Blue Moon Belgian-style wheat ale. It's one of a kind every time. Get Blue Moon delivered by visiting get.bluemoonbeer.com/CHGO to see your delivery options. That's get.bluemoonbeer.com/CHGO. Blue Moon, made brighter. Celebrate responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
It's Thursday, so it is a Sunnyside Summer Thursday, and our friends at Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary are here to elevate your summer. I mean, I've been using them to get through the tough months of May and June, and now it's just like an added bonus considering what the Cubs are giving me in July. Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping. They have a crazy selection with over 100 different strains to choose from with easy online ordering and in-store pickup. Wherever you are in Illinois, Sunnyside has a location for you. They have spots as far as south as Champaign and as far north as South Beloit. Stop in the store nearest you for expert guidance from their staff or select from quality lines like Cresco or FloraCal. Good for the summer is Good News Tea Time Disposable Vape, bringing classic lemonade flavor that's perfect for the golf course. We got the Cookout Classic coming up soon, perhaps. You know, I'm thinking about Corey in this instance, or maybe Luke low key, like low key. All right, he's never gonna like say it, but like low key. All right, low key on the golf course.
Don't let the facts get in the way.
Yeah, don't let the facts get in the way of a good story. Exactly. Like, you know, it's just because we all need a little help on the golf course, right? So, I'm picking up Mindy Siegel's award-winning chocolates at Sunnyside. That's the one I always get when I go. Perhaps tomorrow, make a stop there on my way to Village Tavern, you know, the one in Wrigleyville. So you too can do that by heading to sunnyside.shop and use code HICHGO. That's HICHGO at checkout for 35% off brands like Cresco, Good News, and more to elevate your first purchase. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders.
Just for the Sunnyside thing, I looked at the website today. Our deal saves you like $10. Like it's significant. if you get a thing of gummies, it saves you like $10. It basically wipes out the tax and a couple extra dollars on there. It's a pretty sweet deal.
And don't take Kevin's word for it. Don't just take Kevin's word for it. Go check it out yourself.
Yeah. Okay, let's get to the super chats. Also, we have 96 likes. Can we get 4 more? Also, who thumbs downed us? Come on, man.
I don't know.
The Cubs won.
Probably a Orioles fan.
Orioles fan. Or that, or they opened it,
They
and it was me yelling or something.
Yeah. Like,
they saw you drinking Malort. And they're like,
yeah, right.
Fair.
Zero Demon, 1999. He's the one who last night sent the $50 one on accident, right?
He sent another one too.
The Zero Demon, 1999. There better be some beer bats tonight.
A lot of people want you to do the beer bat.
Everyone, I'm not gonna jinx it.
I support that fully. You can't mess with the juju.
Luke was right when he said that. Because I considered doing it if they swept, and then he said that, that ruins the juju. I can't do it. But I appreciate everyone loving the bit, though.
Chris Caroselli's $2 super chat. He said, "I might be back in."
Okay,
Is that what he said? All right,
that's what it was before that.
Thank you.
Chris. Don't let me talk myself into it. But also, dude, I don't blame you for feeling this way. I don't blame you.
See. We got Easy
Easy E,
$20 from Easy.
$134, $20. Holy shit! To sweep the O's at their home ballpark, which hasn't been done since 2021, and to hold them to 2 runs in the series. I am irrationally back on board and ready to have my heart broken. Fly the W.
Yeah.
That's like...
Is that Cody's burner?
Yeah, it's like, is that my burner count?
It's kind of funny how quickly things flip, right?
Yeah.
Especially when baseball's every day.
Oh, yeah.
Well, despite how bad they've been playing, what they got as low as 9 games under 500.
So. You were ready to wave the white flag. One more loss.
I was. One more loss. I would have waved the white flag. As bad as it was, and this is more so to the credit of how bad the National League is, and the fact that baseball is chaos and crazy and doesn't make any sense. Like, if they had played well for 3 months or 4 months and then had that bad stretch that we already went through in the last month or two, then it would feel even worse, I guess. Like, that's one way to say it, or one way to put it. But yeah, it is crazy how everyone can be turned so quickly, but I still think there's still work to be done for me to be fully back on.
No, for sure. I'm just like, this is the roller coaster for baseball season. When you're playing every day, the highs and lows are every single day which I love.
It is part of what makes it fun, yeah. And also it makes you want to pull your hair out too.
Fernando,
$1.99. So are the Cubs buyers now asking for a friend?
I don't think they're no, not yet.
No,
but if you want, we talked about this a little bit in the pregame show too, but yeah, if you want them to be buyers, this is what they need to do. I mean, Jed Hoyer has come out and said that they need to play better. We'll see how they look in July. And so here we are. If you stay on this trajectory, definitely. But it's still too early. I mean, July 31st is still a long way away. There are a lot of games between now and then.
It's like 15, 16 games, something like that.
Yeah. So, let's say you over the next,
or maybe even more than that. Sorry.
What is it? 8? I don't off the top of my head, I don't know how many games between now and the trade deadline, but if you post a winning record in that stretch combined with what they've done so far, then are they buyers? With as tight as the National League is, you probably are.
Well, I think considering the fact they're 3.5 games back in the wild card right now.
They were going into today, but I know the Reds won, the Mets won.
It looks like they're 3 now. 3
okay.
back.
So you're definitely within striking distance of that.
And and it's like, I don't think they have to be like above 5. Obviously, you'd want to be above 500. Like, don't get me wrong, but I don't think they necessarily need to be so far above 500 and in the wild card spot come trade deadline for them to say buyers or not. Like, I think if they've been playing pretty well, have made up some ground, because even that the wild card teams could also get hot at the same time, and they might not be able to catch them in that time. But if they can play well, win some more series, put on some more winning streaks, I think if they're right there, I just don't think they have to be specifically in a comfortable lead in a wild card spot for them to be like, yeah, we're buyers, or even in a wild card spot. I think if they're right there, they could be like,
you lean on your starting rotation. Look how good they've been.
Yeah, you're like, we have another 2 months of baseball. We're only 2 games out. Like, why would we? We're right here. I think they could say that.
If you can hold in at least at around this position where they are now, then I think that's reason enough to say, okay, because Kevin, you're exactly right. With the rotation that they have, that's huge to be able to go into a trade deadline and not feel like you want to add starting pitching. I mean, that's always a good thing, but if you can go into that and think our rotation is solid, we can look at the other parts of the roster. That makes a really big difference as well, because it's starting pitching drives so much of trade deadline stuff.
Was it like
year after year?
A month and a half ago, I heard that I don't remember who tweeted it, but someone tweeted that they had heard and that the Cubs were interested or thinking about Jack Flaherty as an option.
Yeah,
I remember seeing that.
And he's a 1-year prove it rental guy.
Maybe
if you really are a buyer, those are the types of guys you're going after. Yeah. I'm not necessarily in on it because I just don't think starting pitching is their problem. Right. Like, I know Kyle Hendricks is going to pitch tomorrow and no one really feels great about it, but they're going to get some guys back. Like, Jordan Wicks is going to come back and Ben Brown is eventually going to come back. And Hayden Wesneski has been good. And
Assad should come back on Saturday during the doubleheader. Yeah.
I will say Flaherty is better than all of those guys, but for my expectations for this team this year, I honestly think the Tigers could get a big haul for Flaherty. He's been that good.
And I think,
I'm not sure if I want the Cubs to do that, considering where even if they were to, win this next series and be over 500 at the deadline, I'm not sure if I want them to do that, because I think their biggest need is a power bat, a guy that hits home runs, a guy that puts this offense over the top. That's what I want.
You have bigger needs outside of the rotation.
I think the offense is the thing that has the biggest need. And, if I know there isn't like a true closer available, but if you can add a reliever, perhaps.
Because I think if I'm looking at this team going into, say, a playoff series, and I know that I have Justin Steele, Shota Imanaga, and Jameson Taillon as my 3 pitchers for a playoff series, I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, sure. I do. I will say, to just like look at the other side, like, obviously you can never have enough pitching. We have seen the way the starting pitching on this team has been hit by the injury bug throughout the season. Pretty much, I think everyone but Shota has been on the injured list so far this season. Knock on wood, obviously that he won't, but like everyone has been on the injured list from the rotation except for him. So we've seen how it affects, how that can affect us. So just adding that, just for depth reasons, huge, but also in the fact that, like, and we've talked about this with as far as Ben Brown and Assad and Jordan Wicks coming back whenever they eventually do, as just the domino effects that has on the bullpen, as far as not every guy that can start, like Hayden Wesneski, right, doesn't need to be started. He can go back to the bullpen and pitch out of there. Whoever, not all of Ben Brown, Jordan Wicks, and Javier Assad will be in the rotation when they come back. So one or two of those guys can go and pitch out of the bullpen. And then, I mean, you're bringing potential starting pitching back, you're domino affecting, because more guys are going to that bullpen who could have been starters. So if you were to add someone like Jack Flaherty, I think the domino effect is still the same, where it's like he's going to be a starter, but that means someone that you felt good about starting is now instead going into the bullpen where you might feel even better about them. So I mean,
to bring this full circle though, they have they have 5 more series till the trade deadline.
Sure.
4 of those series are against teams ahead of you in the wild card race right now. The Brewers leading the division. So this is where you'll find out if you're buyers or sellers. Yeah. And if you take 3 or 4 from the Cardinals, man, you're back in it. You're back in it.
Your next 3 series are, you have the Cardinals, the Diamondbacks, and then the Brewers. Yeah. So that's all playoff implication.
Reds to end July.
And then
the Reds to end July, yeah. It's huge. What were the other super chats?
Yeah, we had other super chats. It turned into this whole like buying or selling conversation.
Fernando, I don't see a beer bat, Cody. There's a lot of beer bat super chats.
A lot of people are angry at you for not doing the beer bat. I just gotta say.
Next
we can
one.
Go get it.
Matt McIntyre, why shoot Malort instead of chugging a Blue Moon?
We're all drinking our Blue
Again,
Moons.
it's all about not messing up the juju, man.
We all love Blue Moon.
But I appreciate your super chats. It means a lot. Zero Demon, $49.99. Again, only game we've lost during this run is Hendricks' start So strap in and strap on for tomorrow.
Thanks for the $49.99.
Thank you, Zero
Yeah.
Demon, man.
No, I mean Kyle. I mean, obviously his last start was not very good.
And he was having.
Well, it's because
he
he came out.
Back.
I will say there was some bad batted ball luck against him, but that's not to defend him. That's just what has always been the one thing that's hurt him because he doesn't get enough swing and miss.
And that was the game that he had the back tightness.
Yeah,
that he told us that he had felt it the day before and felt it that morning, but they were like,
felt like he could go out there.
We think we can try. So I don't put too much into that particular outing. I think it's still fair to feel a little.
For sure. Absolutely. I'm not even telling people that you should.
I think it's fair to feel a little uneasy about it.
But don't put it on that start because there were other factors.
But then there was also like a good month where he was actually pitching a lot better.
Pretty
and a couple
solid
starts
for
where he
a
came
while.
back.
I mean, that last appearance, I believe, was – well, no, that was the beginning of July. But most of June, he was great, except for one start in Milwaukee.
Right.
He had 2 great starts against the Giants. He had a good bullpen outing against – whoever, I don't remember, but it was the game Jordan Wicks got hurt.
And given the freshness of the bullpen, if Kyle can go out there tomorrow night and give you 4 solid innings, good enough.
Yeah.
And put you in a position to win, and that's all I'm really asking for from the guy tomorrow.
The team was significantly more healthy in terms of starting pitchers. I think Kyle would still be in the bullpen.
Yeah.
Because even he said himself that he didn't deserve to go back in the rotation, I believe, right? Didn't he say something along those lines?
And it all happened because Ben Brown hurt his neck and Jordan Wicks got hurt. And I remember Craig Counsell saying it's just sort of a like
we have no choice.
We have to.
Yeah.
So that's why
it was such a big hurt that Cade Horton got hurt. Not that he would have came in and been better. We don't know what he would have done. Right. But it would have been perfect timing for him to make his Major League debut. Unfortunately, he got hurt, right?
I will say, Kyle Hendricks, career 13-4, 2.62 ERA versus the St. Louis Cardinals. And at Busch Stadium, his career 6-2 with a 2.47 ERA. So.
He's a lot like Ian Happ. Division games bring the best out of Kyle Hendricks most of the time.
He did throw a Maddox against the Cardinals one time.
I will say, while the Cubs are on this streak,
or
just like the run they've been going on the last week, like Kyle needs to produce tomorrow.
Yeah,
he needs to step up and give him another good outing. And obviously hope that the offense does what it did against the Orioles. The bullpen can lock things down behind him, but like he does got to go out and give them a good start because they just need it. They need every win they can get right now, and that's part of it.
Again, I think if he can give you 4, maybe 5 solid innings, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
Shoot for a quality start, but give you at least 5.
And closing on him, to me, anything he gives you the rest of the season is an added bonus. Should you be paying that added bonus $16.5 million? No, but was he deserving of it after last year? Yes. So, and to go with all of the longevity he's had with not just the organization, but in the league and all this stuff. So 2 things can be true. It's fair to not be confident with him tomorrow. He also has pitched in big games before. It really is a big game all the way through the All-Star break and the rest of the month for the Cubs if they really do plan on trying to be a playoff team. It just really is. So, anyway.
All right, Darren Johnson?
Darren Johnson, 1999. Thank you, Darren. By far the best series win all season. Let's see the beer bat, Cody. Go Cubs, go.
People need to see the beer bat.
Sorry, Darren.
I would agree.
But, yes, I would agree. This is one of the best series of the year.
I think it is the best considering where they came from the last 2 months, who they're facing. They're on the road. Yeah, this is their best. I mean, they swept them too, right?
The best team in the American League.
This is their best series win of the year.
If I could take the series against the Dodgers and put that series like before the series, it'd be hard to
How did the Orioles score their 2 runs?
They swept.
Did they hit any home runs?
Those were both in the first game.
Westberg hit one out.
Did he hit a home run?
Yeah,
on Tuesday?
In the first game.
Yeah.
Okay, because the Orioles hit more home runs than any team in the league. And you held them to 2
correct.
runs.
Well,
You are correct. They did sweep, and they didn't sweep the Dodgers. But that Dodgers team, at the time when it happened, it was like, wow.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? So
I think this is a pretty big wow, too.
This is a pretty big wow. I tend to agree that this is the biggest series.
Not only did you sweep them, but you really dominated
them from top to bottom.
Games.
Yeah.
Westbrook hit a solo shot, and they scored another one at some point in that game. I can't find it.
And then our friend DFW Susie, $5. Cody's Master Boney jersey fund plus Diehards Go to Japan Kickstarter. I like it.
That's a great. Two great causes.
I was telling people in the Discord in our voice chat, whether it was this past weekend or maybe it was the weekend before, I saw someone on the street wearing a Master Boney like jersey. I was in my car though when it happened. I swear, if I would have been on my bike or something, I would have totally stopped and asked the person if I could take a picture of their back. I totally would have.
Respect it.
I want to talk about Master Boney because he had really good defensive plays.
He's been awesome.
I mean, Everett in the chat said the slumping Orioles, but they had won like 8 of 11 coming into today.
Had they?
Or 8 of 12 or something like that. Like they weren't slumping or not coming into today, coming into this series.
Right.
They weren't slumping by any means. Like they were still winning a lot of ball games. Again, first place in the American League. I wouldn't say they were slumping.
Top
by any
means.
means.
American League.
In general, I say this all the time, like getting a team at the right time or whatever. Like, you know how many teams came to Wrigley or whatever in the last 2 months and we're probably thinking we're getting the Cubs at the right time? You know, after they left, I said, wait, man, we got the Cubs at the right time. Right. You know, like in the month of April when the Cubs started off hot and we were all kind of like, wow, this team might be something. Beating the Dodgers, sweeping the Astros. Like, I think at that moment, before we had seen what happened the next 2 months, like we were all sitting here thinking, you know, we got those teams at the right time, you know? Mm-hmm. So, and if you want to go into the 2 months of playing bad, you know, it's frustrating that they lost those 3 or 4 to the Giants, but when they beat the Giants at Wrigley, 2 out of 3, it really did feel like we were getting the Giants at the right time because it was disgusting baseball.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I wouldn't say the Cubs were getting the Orioles at the right time. They just came in and beat them.
No, I'm not even trying to say that either.
Right.
Yeah,
but yeah, so I mean, I guess Everett clarified as they're slumping now.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Now they're slumping.
Now it makes sense.
Okay.
No, yeah, but I mean, just
I'm
going back to the thing, it's that they're this is their best series win of the season. Yeah. It's again going into this series was the best team in the American League, coming off an 8-3 last stretch, so they really good to go on the road into Baltimore and go and sweep this team and sweep them pretty handily. I don't think yes, even Wednesday was the closest game, but even that one didn't feel like super close. Like it felt closer for sure, and like until they added on later in the game, you were like, that's when I think you were able to take a breath. But overall, the series felt like the Cubs were in the driver's seat for basically all of it.
Yeah,
and I like with everything we just said, it's kind of like everyone has to play everyone now. You know, like I remember at the first couple months of the year, the people who were watching the Phillies and seeing them be as good as they were, a lot of people were like, oh, well, their schedule's been easy and this and that. But it's like everyone has to play everyone, right? You have to play the schedule you're given. If you win games, you are going to be touted as a good team. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't care how you get it done. Just win games. If the Cubs would have won 3 straight one-run games, yeah, I'm sure my blood pressure would have been super high and I would have been sweating for 3 straight days at a ridiculous level.
You wouldn't be
but they would have won and swept the Orioles, right?
You may not be as happy as you are today, but like
yeah, probably not. Yeah, probably not.
But I mean, yeah, like you said, they still would have won 3 games against
the point is I don't care how you get it done. You just win games, you get yourself in position for the playoffs or whatever. It doesn't really matter to me.
But it's kind of like when people, let's say they had swept a bad team and people want to dismiss that. Say, oh, well, they
use the White Sox as an example.
Right. They beat
we'll go to winning a series against the Angels over the weekend. Like,
right.
Yeah, no one really took it seriously.
But I
didn't either.
Right. And it's, yes, maybe you look at that a little bit differently, but the point you're making is a good one because that's just what you're supposed to do. So you can't dismiss it when a team beats a bad team, but you also, when like the Cubs go in and beat the Orioles, sweep the Orioles at home, who are one of the best teams of baseball, the same way that you want to dismiss one series, I think you have to look at this series and say, okay, well, this says something about this team. The Cubs are not bad because, and I'll give Kevin credit because he said this before we started the show, a bad team doesn't go into Baltimore and sweep the Orioles. And they certainly don't go in and sweep them the way that the Cubs just did over the last 3 games.
Looking at a comment from Carter Hawkins, it's a good one. If Cubs make the playoffs, we will point to this series. He's absolutely right. He's absolutely right.
That's why Carter is the GM of the Cubs.
He's absolutely the real GM.
The Orioles are going to win the World Series, I think. So
they were my pick this year.
Same.
I don't remember.
I had until the Braves kind of lost their two most important players for the year.
Maybe.
I think it kind of opened it up a little bit more.
Oh shit! I might have picked the Braves.
Just an awesome series from the Cubs. Anybody who's mad about it, I don't know. Go drink a Blue Moon.
There's nothing.
Have yourself a Blue Moon.
Yeah.
There's just nothing to be mad about from this series.
No,
like
nothing.
again, they put together Wednesday maybe to a lesser extent, but 3 complete games all around. Like that they haven't done consistently.
18 scoreless innings from Cubs pitching.
The game Wednesday, which was their quote unquote worst win of the series, they won 4-0. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, and then even. I mean, what, the 3rd inning was when they scored the last time the Orioles scored on Tuesday, so that's like 24 scoreless innings from Cubs pitching to end the series.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's pretty good.
And the offense putting up the numbers they did.
Especially against that offense.
Right.
To hold down Gunnar Henderson and Adley Rutschman and the rest of them. I will say that a little bit of luck went on their way. Like yesterday, we sat here and said it. There were 3 balls that were hit off Shota Imanaga that would have left multiple ballparks, but they didn't at Camden Yards. And, there's countless games over the last 2 months where I've sat here and I've been like, man, like this guy hit, or Dansby or someone hit this ball and it would have left, 20 ballparks. But of course we're playing here, so it didn't leave this night. Like I know I've done this. I've done it plenty of times because like they have hit over those 2 months of really bad baseball. They hit so many warning track fly balls as in the Cubs, and it didn't necessarily cost them. It was just insanely frustrating because you felt like they did everything right and it just didn't go their way. So the thing, I guess my point with that is every team needs a little bit of luck to go their way. That's how baseball works, and that's why there's always chaos, and that's why if you get into the playoffs, anyone can get hot and go on a run. We've watched it the last 2 years.
Diamondbacks got to the World
and
Series.
The Phillies the last 2 years. The Phillies were a 6th seed in the playoffs 2 years ago and got all the way to the World Series. Mm-hmm. I know they didn't win the World Series, but if you get in the way they did and go make that kind of run, like shit, like I said, anything can happen, And
I hate to use the Braves example because this Cubs team is not that Braves team, but the Braves are another one.
In 2021, they were like 500 at the deadline, and they went on a run.
Now, again, that Braves team was way better than this Cubs team, but it still counts. It's still an example.
2019 Nationals team.
Nationals,
yeah,
good
great.
They were in a lot worse shape.
Yeah. But I understand a lot of fans too who push back on a lot of that, and they're just like, they want a team that's good from the beginning of the year all the way through, like the 2016 Cubs, for example. I get it.
Except we forget that the Cubs have their June, right? Wasn't June a bad month?
They struggled in June, Or going into the
All-Star break, it was like, oh,
maybe it was more so July.
It was one of those where you're like, oh, this is coming.
But every
at a really
team
good time
slumps,
for them. Every team slumps, and like the Cubs slump was more than a slump. Like it was 2 months of bad baseball for sure, and like that's why like people that are fans that are not buying it. Like I'm not completely I'm not saying like the Cubs are back by any means. Like I think they, to me, as the the reporter, as the one that's reporting on this team, like they still have to show me that they can continue a streak for more than a week. They can continue to stack on series wins, and they can get closer to 500 and make up some more ground on the they need to show me that for the rest of the month for me to be like, yeah, okay, this team should buy. This team is back.
Yeah.
But as I understand the fan perspective of like this series, these last 2 series, they've played. That's 1 week versus 2 months of bad baseball. I'm not back in yet until they prove it for long. I understand that because that's kind of where I'm at. Like coming off 2 months of bad baseball, 1 week isn't just gonna flip my mindset of like this team just needs to continue to play better.
Right.
That's my mindset. That's my mindset going into the Angel series, coming out of the Angel series, and going into the Baltimore series, and now coming out of the Baltimore series. I still need to see that for a longer period of time before I'm like, yeah, this team is absolutely buyers. This team can make a playoff run. I still need to see that.
There was a really good tweet from this Twitter account, Michael Ernst.
I know
at
Michael.
MJ_ERNST. I think is it Ernst?
Ernst, yeah. He's a good guy.
Yeah. He's a writer for Cubs Den. I've never met the guy, but he sent a really good tweet earlier today. he said, I don't understand desire some Cubs fans have that if a 75 to 85 win season is the destiny, then team must or should be sellers at the trade deadline. The goal is to get better now or next year, not in 3 years. Starting pitching looks set. Bullpen has young, promising arms, but needs an anchor, need more power in the lineup. And that's why I say that you need to get if you're going to quote unquote buy, you need to get something to make the offense better. And it can't be a rental. It has to be someone who's going to be here in 2025.
Yeah,
too.
right. And he's making a really good point, because we've turned this trade deadline talk in almost like a binary out. There are only two possible approaches.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a buyer or you're a seller. And yeah, there's a lot of teams that aren't really going to do either at the trade deadline. And I think that the Cubs are a great example of what might end up happening. Is they don't really look like a buyer or a seller this month, because they are thinking about how well they've positioned themselves for 2025, 2026. Right. And I'm glad you brought that up, because the smart long-term move is probably, let's look at how we can approach this trade deadline, not necessarily to try to make a playoff run in 2024. Like, if that happens, great. But the smart move is, what do we need to do so that in 2025 we're in better position?
Before, I think Kevin's
he's wrapping us up.
I do got to say, we got the probables for the St. Louis this series over the weekend. Obviously, Kyle Hendricks Friday series opener. For the doubleheader, Hayden Wesneski and TBD. Also TBD on the order for the doubleheader on Saturday, but Hayden Wesneski will pitch one of those games, and potential Javier Assad return in the other game. And then Sunday is Jameson Tyone. So you got 3 games set, or at least 3 starters set, and another TBD. We'll see.
All right. Well, we have the watch party at Village Tavern tomorrow, and I'm just going to say it. The Cubs have not won any remote show or party that we have had this season. We are absolutely due. We are so due for a win at a disclosed location that we are promoting to try and get the people who like us to come hang out with us and eat the famous chicken tenders at Village Tavern, or if it's at Almost Home, or if it's at any other place that we've been this season. The Cubs have not won. Tomorrow, that changes. Village Tavern, Carroll Stream. We'll be there probably an hour before the game, or close to an hour before the game, or half hour, whatever. We'll be there in Carroll Stream, Village Tavern. Chicken tenders that I can't wait to try, because everyone keeps talking about them.
World
famous.
Yeah.
Dynamite.
Village Tavern, Carroll Stream.
If you live anywhere near Village Tavern, Carroll Stream, even if you don't like baseball, come to this watch party.
Yeah. And there's a good reason to come now.
Just for the
good
tenders.
spot.
Great reason. The Cubs have won 4 in a row, 6 of 7, and I'm getting real delusional. I'm just going to say it. I'm getting real delusional. So come hang out with us tomorrow night. We'll see you there. Luke will be there. We'll be there. Jared's family will be there, because Jared will be at the White Sox game.
I got to cover the White Sox tomorrow night. So,
but yeah. Anyway, Cubs beat the Orioles 8-0. And I'm going to sleep really well tonight. We'll see y'all, Corey and Brennan, on Sunday. We'll see y'all tomorrow at Village Tavern. And go Cubs. Fly W.
We all silly like the mayor.